Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome back to some more Let's Play Splatoon 2. Last time, we defeated the boss of World 2, and we made our way to the next world in the game here, World 3. And in between episodes, I went ahead and changed my Inkling design, so now, I'm rocking that long hair as the Inkling Girl. Looking more like the Splatoon 1 design of the Inkling Girl to be precise. So, now with that said, let's just go ahead and make our way through this world here. And I'm going to immediately get off of this roller, swap over to the charger instead. Simply because there's going to be a lot of things here that are just not going to be easy to hit with the roller. So the zipline here, for example, yeah, no way I'm using the roller for that. Good luck trying to hit that thing from far distance using a weapon at very short range. So right here I'm going to start unlocking levels pretty much as soon as we get to this world, just simply because there's a lot of levels spread all over the place. So just to make things easier, I'm going to start unlocking things, and then we can just super jump to these levels when we can. So just go ahead, hit this box to get our Sardinium of World 3. So, there you go. Very easy Sardinium to find, to be honest. The one in World 2 is a little more hidden than this one. So, I'm going to just break open those boxes, get a trail of ink ready here, and jump over. You have to be careful making that jump because you need to be in your squid form to jump over the metal grate there. But there's also a metal grate floor that you're going to land on. So, as soon as you go through the first grate, let go of your squid and go back to normal. You'll fall through the floor otherwise. Let's just go ahead and activate this ink rail. I'm not going to throw a splat bomb here in the center. It just kind of makes things a little bit easier because I got that balloon. And also, it's going to set something up here in just a moment. Let me take care of these blue balloons. Get me some more eggs. I need as many of these things as I can get. There we go. Let's go ahead and go this way to unlock another level. There we go. Using the charger for this hub world in particular, it's so helpful. There's just so many things that really the charger's more designed for in this world. So it's really good for exploration's sake to be using the charger right now. So let me hit this balloon, hit this fan, and we could have actually... Oh no, I thought that was like a zip line above us, but no, actually it's an ink railing here, which is hidden by a box. Unfortunately, gotta shoot the box here a bit to expose it. And right here, this one's kind of a tricky manhole to hit, so what I like to do is I like charge on my ink and throw some splat bombs over here. Because there's a sprinkler here on the other side of this wall, and it's kind of annoying to jump around, so just using a suction bomb there, or suction bomb, I'm thinking of a different type of weapon, just using a normal splat bomb, I just find to be way easier. That's level 12, we're getting there. There's not that many more levels honestly to open up at this point. So let's just go ahead and actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and take care of this now. Let me activate the ink railing. And let's start hitting these balloons here, because these ones will lead us to our sunken scroll this area. I like to pretty much explore these hubs as much as I can. As you can see when we first get into these, simply because they're pretty big. And just pretty much doing everything at once, I like doing right away. That way I know where to go, I unlock the levels quick, so all I need to do at that point is I can just super jump these levels when I'm ready to play them. So, exploring the hubs as much as you can in Splatoon 2, I think is an even bigger deal this time around compared to Splatoon 1. Simply just because of how much bigger these hubs are in comparison to Splatoon 1. The biggest the hubs ever got in the first game was the final hub in World 5 in particular. That was pretty big to a point where there was a lot of vertical climbing going on. But for the most part, that's pretty much all you were doing. You're just doing a lot of vertical climbing. In Splatoon 2, you're doing a lot more than just climbing. You're going all over the place between climbing on walls, jumping around different platforms, just riding around these kind of automated platforms in general. There's just a lot more you do to explore these hubs. So it's best to explore as much as possible when you're first starting out here, just so it makes things a lot easier for the future runs. So now we got all those sprinklers out of the way. Let's go ahead and open up this level here, which I do believe is actually our next level in the game, level 10. But before we go to that one, I'm going to go ahead and unlock the final level over here that we need. Hit this zip line, then we can go ahead and ride that rail later. Shoot this a couple times, and there's 14. So at this point, the entire World 3 is open for us. We can pretty much explore any level we want. So let's go ahead and start in order here. Let's make our way to level 10, and go into the Octo Seeker Shakedown of Midnight Stroll. About 5 minutes in the episode, let's go ahead and actually tackle our first level. That took a bit to get to, but again, it's just best to explore as much of these hubs as you can, because now all I need to do is I can just super jump to all these levels. So starting this level here, we have a new weapon to go ahead and use, the Hero Slosher. Say hello to a simple weapon with a fantastic profit margin, the Hero Slosher. It's just a bucket. Fling ink with the ZR button. You can even slosh over walls. Once you get the aim down, you'll be sloshing your enemies in no time. The Slosher is actually a pretty unique weapon. Just like the Splat Roar, this doesn't have the best range, but it's very powerful. It's kind of comparing itself to the shotguns of modern FPS games. But the biggest thing though about the Slosher is the arc of its shot. Because of the fact this has a pretty big arc when you shoot ink out of the Slosher, this is a very, very interesting weapon. This is actually a really good case of it's a really powerful weapon, but at the same time, there's a lot of strategy that comes behind using it. The biggest thing about the Slosher that I like is, in terms of the single player at least, this does not only a lot of damage, but this is a really good weapon to use against enemies with shields. Because not only are you doing damage to the enemy when you're flinging over their shield, but you do have a lot of damage that stacks on top of that said shield too, so you can kill enemies and their shields at the same time if you're good enough with your shots. It's just that strong of a weapon. It's honestly one of my favorites to use in single player just in terms of the damage output. There's only one downside I can really find with the Slosher, and it's the fact that you can't hold down the shoot button with this weapon. You have to constantly mash the shoot button or to use it, and after a while that can be pretty tiring on your fingers, but outside of that, the Slosher is one of the best weapons, honestly, in Splatoon 2. For the longest time, the Tri-Slosher in particular was one of the best buckets to use in multiplayer of this game. And it's got a lot of different nerfs and also a lot of buffs over the years in Splatoon, so it's still considered one of the best buckets, that's for sure. But nowadays, I see a lot of people also play with a new type of Slosher called the Blobbler. And the Blobbler is very similar in terms of like how the Tri-Slosher works, for example, where it's not the same kind of shot as the normal bucket here is, but at the same time, it does have a very interesting mechanic to it where it shoots out these bubbles, hence the name the Blobbler, but those bubbles actually stack damage. So while one bubble shot won't kill you on impact, if that bubble is stacked on top of you, it can do about 4 to 5 hits, which will kill you. It's a very powerful weapon because of that stacking damage. And I see people using that weapon all the time now in the multiplayer modes. Sloshers are just really, really good from what I've seen in general. They do a lot in terms of damage and also ink coverage, so they're definitely one of the best types of weapons in Splatoon from what I've noticed. But that's enough about buckets, let's go ahead and talk about the level here a bit. As you've seen beforehand, you want to jump down to that bottom section, which is pretty well hidden, mind you, in that previous area. You jump down below, and that's how you get yourself your sunken scroll. That's one of the harder ones, honestly, to find in this world. It took me a bit to find that when I first played through the single player. It's just that well hidden, in my opinion. And at this point, you're really going to start noticing just how well hidden these collectibles start to become. Some could be pretty obvious, like, oh yeah, it's kind of out in the open. How am I going to miss that? To ones that we just found earlier, where it's like, wow, that's very far out of the way, and there's barely anything there really to see. So at this point, this is when you really got to start looking around. I think World 3 was when I was first playing the game. I had to start looking up guides just to see where I was missing some of the scrolls and Sardinians, because they're just that well hidden at this point in the game. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and try to bait this Akko Seeker just to slam down on me. I didn't actually want him to hit me, but yeah, what are you going to do? I had a shield, luckily, because of my armor, so I didn't really take that much damage. I just lost one piece of armor, which had more than enough to survive for a long time, so it doesn't really matter. So you want to get on top of this Akko Seeker just to shoot some extra balloons. We give you some more eggs. Nothing very special there, just kind of makes things a little easier in terms of just collecting more of these eggs. The more eggs I can get right now, the better it'll be in terms of just upgrading my weapons, because man, I need as many of these things as I can get early on. So right here, I'm actually going to climb up, and this guy's going to stomp down, which gives me more than enough time to get on his back, build up with ink, and then jump over to my next platform. Or he can just shove me right off. Okay, that's never happened to me before. So I think what happened there in particular is because he was rising up, how he moves around in general does affect how you move on the platform. I think because he was moving up, it kind of pushed my character off a bit, and that's how I fell, which that really didn't help. That was some bad timing, but it's not a big deal. Just wait for him to come around again. I can definitely make it over to my next platform. It's just kind of annoying when you're on the platform, ready to jump off, you're right next to where you need to go, and then you just slide off at the very end. It's like one jump away, and still, nah, you fall. Just that easy. Let's just go ahead and grab ourselves some more power eggs. I do need to wait for this Octo Seeker here because I want to get on top of him to get me another collectible. So, grab ourselves some more eggs. And now let's step into his searchlight. Come on, buddy. Here we go. Let's bait him over here, see if I can get him in a good spot. I think this is good enough. Yeah, that should work. Now let me just climb up his edge here. Perfect. I barely made it, too. So I thought for a sec I was going to slide right off when he was going up. This is one of the hardest areas to climb up the Octo Seeker because you can't splat the floor. So you can't really rely on just moving around fast in your squid form. You have to walk. And because of that Octo Seeker in particular is pretty hard to get on top of. But this is our final section of the level. And luckily for us, right over here in these boxes is our final Sardinian. So there you go. Got our final collectible. Got the Sardinian. You can splat those balloons for some power eggs, but it's not really worth it in my opinion. I'm just going to get out of there. And with that, we're done with the level. So Midnight Stroll is now complete. So that was our introduction to the Slosher weapon. And we're not going to see too much more here in World 3. We'll be using it more throughout our game, obviously. The Slosher is great in terms of doing a lot of damage in these levels. I don't really find it to be that good of a weapon to use in these hubs, though, because it's very short range, and because of it, it's kind of hard to hit a lot of these targets farther away. So kind of like the roller, it's going to more or less be used just for the levels. But the hubs, not so much. There's a new fish in the sea. Come check out the shoal. The most entertaining destination in Inkopolis is now open. Well, that's something we'll definitely take a look at when we're back in Inkopolis. Nice work, Agent 4. Just 5 more Zapfish and that boss kettle will pop up. Alright, well, let's work on it. Let's go into level 11 next. The Floating Garden. Chasing Heartache. Oh man, that doesn't sound fun. What, are we gonna go through a breakup or something? That's not good. Don't break up with me, Marie. I thought we had something special. We're partners. So this level we're gonna go ahead and use ourselves a dually, so let's go ahead and just use ourselves a short range weapon, and in this level in particular, you're gonna want something that shoots fast because you'll be seeing coming up later, but there's a specific enemy that is really fast. This guy right here. A Tentacook. The Tentacooks here are really hard. Like, these guys just move so fast, so they're really hard to keep up with, and I don't really like them, if you want to be honest. So, in this case, I'm actually going to throw out the Auto Bomb. So, Auto Bomb will actually chase this guy down in this corner in particular, and it's pretty easy to take him out here in particular, only because it's a very small space. Coming up, on the other hand, not so much. This guy is in a very open area, so Auto Bomb is not going to help. So, yeah, this Tentacook here is not going to be an easy one to get. Also, I don't think I'm going to say his enemy name anymore because it doesn't sound the most friendly of names, if you want to be honest. So, we're going to just avoid that name. Don't really like it all too much, if you want to be honest. Just go ahead and get this Altarian guy. That'll be a little bit better. Doesn't sound as hateful. So there's our key. Let's go ahead and unlock this and jump away. Now we got 2 of these Tenas up here. These 2 at 10 enemies, luckily with the dualies, won't be too bad to get because we have enough range to reach both of these guys here. And yeah, there you go, already done. Now I gotta say though, those things are way easier to kill using motion control. When I first played the single player in Splatoon 2, this was at a point when I was still using the traditional stick control. I wasn't fully swapped over to the motion yet. It wasn't until about, I'd like to say maybe halfway through the mode, I started to use motion control. And I believe this level in particular was one of the ones I was still playing without the motion control. And it really shows in this level. The difference between how fast motion control aiming could be and how fast the stick aiming could be. It's a night and day difference. It's insane. I didn't really like motion control aiming at first when I played the Splatoon games, but to be fair, when I first played Splatoon, it was on the Wii U. Using gyro aiming with that giant gamepad, not the easy to do in confined spaces, so I can understand why back then I didn't like the gyro aiming all that much. The gamepad wasn't really the best for that, it's just too big. But using the Joy-Cons or the Switch Pro Controller in particular, really not that bad honestly, it feels more natural. I'd say now at this point using the motion control aiming, it feels more like mouse and keyboard aiming. It's that smooth. It's not as accurate, but it definitely feels closer to mouse and keyboard control. It's probably the closest you're gonna get that's not either pointer control like with the Wii or using an actual mouse and keyboard. I would like to see that for this game. Trying to find a way to use the mouse and keyboard here. That would be very interesting. Because this is a very fast-paced aiming kind of game, so I don't know how well that would work if the mouse and keyboard controls weren't properly mapped. So the sensitivity was off in any way with the mouse, then that could be detrimental. I cannot believe this guy actually ran towards me. That I cannot believe worked out. Not the smartest enemy, that's for sure. Alright, so right here, let's see if we can get this guy trapped. There you go. Now, let's do a rebound shot here. There you go. What the heck? It slid off the edge. Try it again. It's not going to work out. I'm just going to have to get him stuck and go. Not really my best performance, not going to lie. Alright, so now we're coming up to our final checkpoint here. And we have one more 10 enemy to go ahead and kill, right? Well, let's go ahead and kill him, or at least try to, and yeah, that's a lot of enemies. And there's so many, but only 2 of these guys actually have a key. So, there's one lock that'll take us to the end of the level, one lock that'll give us a collectible. And I'm going for both of these things, so this is not going to be fun, because these guys are way too quick. Luckily, there's one of the keys, so if I just wanted to leave right now, I could. But I'm actually going to get the other key, because I want that collectible. So let's just go ahead and take out the Atarians around here. Make our way to the top. All of them are going to run off, but luckily up here is a special. So let's go ahead and use these 10 missiles. It's going to make things way easier on me. Alright, there's the second key that just dropped. I don't need to kill the last enemy now. I probably will just because he's here. But at this point, I can leave him alone if I really wanted to. He's pretty much stuck in a corner, so it wouldn't matter. He's an easy kill. Alright, so now we get our Sardinian. And that's all the collectibles here. So let's get out of here. Let's grab our Zapfish and call it a level. These 10 enemies are just super annoying. We'll see them in a couple other levels in the game here, but man, they are really hard to catch. Especially when they want to throw like 7 at you at once. That's not fun. Major changes to regulations by the power that have led to a call for the complete replacement and overhaul of all special weapons. Designers and manufacturers are struggling to comply with the new regulation. So that scroll in particular described why a lot of the specials from Splatoon 1 did not transfer over to Splatoon 2. Pretty much every weapon in this game has a different special, outside of the bomb rushes really, and their excuse is power regulation changes. Okay, I just think a lot of them were changed in particular just simply because some of them are pretty broken, some of them are pretty useless, so they just kind of wanted to start from scratch, which I can understand. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and end the episode on that note. So, with that said, next time on Let's Play Splatoon 2, we'll continue exploring World 3, entering our next level here, the Otto Resort Spring. I'll see you guys next time.